I want to thank Senator Sandoval, President Larry Dominick, Representative Linda Hernandez, Lisa Hernandez, and Mrs. Marva Board from IDOT, and RTA Chairman John Yates, and Executive Director Joe Costello, and everyone else for joining us today at the groundbreaking for this very exciting project. The rehabilitation of the Cicero Station. We're happy that our partnership with Cicero and our great relationships with elected officials can produce such tangible benefits for our riders. We at METRA like to say that our stations are the gateways to our system. We know how important it is for those gateways to be appealing and welcoming to riders, and that's why it's exciting to be here today as we begin construction of a new station for the people of Cicero and nearby communities. When this project is complete, this station will have completely rebuilt 7 car platforms. It will have a new warming house on the outbound side and a new heated waiting area on the inbound side. It will have rebuilt tunnels and ramps that comply with ADA requirements. It will have high-intensity lighting and new landscaping, and it will have a new paved parking lot. A new paved parking lot. It will be safe, modern. It will be a safe and modern new station that should prove comfortable, attractive, and functional for our riders and our area residents. We hope it will further cement the great partnership we have with Cicero and serve our customers and community well into the future. Just as our stations are gateways to our system, they're always gateways to the communities we serve. That's why it's so important that we work together, and that's why we have to share the credit for this project with the elected officials who represent the people of Cicero. First, Senator Marty Sandoval was instrumental in the legislature in wisely passing a new bond program to fund stations and other capital needs. He has always been a friend to METRA and public transportation. We're glad he could be here for us today. I would like to invite him to say a few words and recognize other dignitaries who are here in the audience today. Senator Marty Sandoval.
Thank you, Brother Huggins.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'd like to, before I start just having a few comments, I'd like to welcome all of you to the town of Cicero. It's this great town that I've had an opportunity of representing for almost the last decade. I'm finishing my 4th term as the senator for the town of Cicero, and I wouldn't know of any other town to represent in Suburban Cook County than the town of Cicero. I'm so happy to be joined here by the administration of the town of Cicero. I'd like to recognize some of the electeds here from our government. Trustee Victor Garcia, Trustee Lorraine Walsh, Trustee Dennis Raleigh, Trustee Larry Banks, one of the patriarchs of the town who's been here probably longer than the METRA Station. And that's good. Our supervisor we love so much, Joe Varuso. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Joe, you're in better shape than the METRA Station. Blessed for that. We've got Town Assessor Imo Kandari with us. We'll show up briefly. We have our collector, Franny Reese. Franny. And we have our clerk, Maria Punzo Arias. I'll leave the big guy for a few minutes after my comments. It's with great, I gotta stop. We have the Executive Director of the RTA, Mr. Costello, here with us, joining us from the Regional Transportation Authority. We have my former colleague in the Senate, Dave Sullivan, who's also here with us. We have Marva Boyd, Chief of Staff for the Illinois Department of Transportation. Marva. Our friends here from Johns Burns, who are going to be putting some people to work here today. John Burns Construction. You know, one of the challenges I've had over the last 10 years and the last 15 years as an elected official is I've always said that if I ever had an opportunity representing the people, I didn't want to be like the rest of them. And that has been kind of a motivating factor for me as the METRA Station roars by our ceremony here this morning. How appropriate, right? So working with Mayor Daley, Mayor Rahm Emanuel, work with Speaker Michael Madigan, my new state representative in this district, working with folks like Ed Burke and Bill Lipinski and Dan Lipinski, our congressman, and Mike Zalewski, the alderman. I'm working with a number of officials on the southwest side. I've quickly learned that it is very important to invest and make sure that when you get elected to office, you make every effort to make sure that the taxpayers' investment into state government and the local government return back to our communities. And one of my friends who has helped me also learn that in my 10 years as senator is President Larry Dominick. He's a local man who's dedicated his entire life to serving the people of Cicero, whether in law enforcement and now as president. But in my 10 years, he's been the president of the town of Cicero for more than half of that. And it's with a lot of pleasure and sometimes a little heartache that while I'm in session, I get more calls from him than I do from my wife. And and there are some days, even towards the latter part of the session, when things get done, where it's 2 or 3 in the morning, and Larry's still up, either driving the alleys of the town of Cicero, or checking out, or riding with the gang unit in the town of Cicero, or doing what just a few mayors tend to do, be with the people on the street, at street level, figure out how he can make his town a better place to live. Well, I also get calls from Larry Dominick at about 2 or 3 in the morning while I'm in my room in Springfield, reminding me to make sure that when you get up, Senator, the next morning, don't forget about the town of Cicero. And so that's a tribute to Larry Dominick, a tribute to this administration, who have been very supportive of me throughout the last 10 years. I came across another friend over the last few years who at first I thought, well, this is going to be a real tough road to haul, because him and I were not competing, but we had similar interest in wanting to represent and lead METRA into a new era. And he obviously was the better man because he got the job. I didn't. But today, I'm glad that he's there. I'm glad that he's there because he has brought on a new era of transparency. He has brought on a new, more accountable governance structure to METRA. And quite honestly, what he has done in his first year, I probably would have not been able to do as best and good of a job as he's done. His efforts when it comes to minority contracting are superb, second to none, compared to the city of Chicago, Water Reclamation District, the state of Illinois. METRA, under his leadership, has ensured of putting Hispanic, Latino, Asian, women contractors to work, and I think they should be applauded for his vision and his leadership when it comes to that arena. He also was very open to the whole aspect of investing in minority communities. I said to him, when you get appointed by the board, you can't forget the minority communities in Chicago and in the western suburbs. And I happen to represent, along with Representative Hernandez, the heart of the Latino community in Illinois. There are more Latinos in this district than there is in any other district. And we have probably one of the oldest, most tired METRA stations there is in the entire network. And I said to him, one of the things you need to get done with your board, find a way, figure it out, to make a significant investment in renewing and reinvesting in the METRA station in Cicero. And you know, here we are today. It's a real good example of when government and the elected officials work together getting things done. And I think this is the testament today to my good friend at the new executive director of METRA, Alex Clifford. So I'd like to give Alex Clifford a shout out. Alex, thank you. This could not have been done with support of Governor Quinn. This could not have been done without support of Congressman Lipinski. We on the southwest side, the west suburban corridor, work together in partnership with all the electeds to get things done. And this $4.5 million that METRA has made a capital priority as a result of all levels of government working together and getting it done. And I know of no other shining moment today in the history of Cicero. As you know, for the last several years, I've been getting calls also from not only Larry Dominick, for this entire board of Cicero. Just recently, I got calls from Franny Reitz, I got calls from Maria Punzo Arias, I got calls from Lorraine Walls, I got calls. I may have gotten calls from every single trustee about when is it coming, when is it happening. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's here, it's going to happen, it's a reality. And so I'd like to thank President Dominick for his vision of the new Cicero, putting people back to work and making Cicero a better place to live. Thank you all. Anybody else? Oh, I gotta introduce the big guy, I think, no? We have a couple other dignitaries with us. We have Representative-elect Silvana Taveras with us this morning. And we have Cicero's Democratic Commitment, Charlie Hernandez. And I'm going to go out of queue, Larry, because we're going to introduce the big man, and I want to introduce the big man.
Oh, that's fine.
Is that all right? That's fine. So, without further ado, the president of the town of Cicero, my good friend, all our good friend, and the leader of the new Cicero, Larry Dominick.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. I'm very fortunate to have a great town board that supports me, but Cicero is very fortunate to have the greatest senator any town can have, and that's Senator Sandoval. And he's done such a great job to help us. And I want to thank our great state representatives, Lisa Hernandez and Silvana Taveras, the greatest state reps any town can have. And I'm blessed to have those people working with us, and it was a pleasure to work with METRA. We started doing this project like in 2005, and finally, this spring, we finally got it done. It's a long time coming, and if you look at the beautiful picture, it's going to be so beautiful. It's going to build up this area. I'm hoping someday to sell all that land over there, and the west of us, sell all that land, make storefronts with condos, and really bring this community into the new era. So I'm thankful for all the hard work everyone did, and Cicero's going in the right direction. And someday this section will be the most beautiful part of town, and that's going to be an accomplishment. That's one of our big goals. Just imagine all the people that work downtown to buy a condo here, jump on the train, 15 minutes, they're downtown for a couple of dollars rather than a big bucks parking in the garages downtown. So that's exciting. It'll be here probably within 2-3 years. We'll have all that done, and hopefully everything keeps going right. And I want to thank once again the hard work of our state senator, our state reps, all the town employees, and the elected officials. And thank you, METRA. And hopefully we get this done in a year. That's about the time they said. So the weather's been outstanding this winter. Who knows what's going to happen, but God bless everyone, and God bless the town of Cicero. Thank you.
Thank you, President Dominick, for those good words. But one of the things I'd like to say, I met Marty maybe 15, 16 years ago when he was commissioner of a water reclamation district. And one of the things that Senator Sandoval said at the time is that his objective is to become a good public servant. There's no question about, for what you see today, that Senator Sandoval is definitely a good public servant. And Senator Sandoval, I really want to thank you for your hard work and dedication in making sure that the town of Cicero will have this beautiful station, because it really takes both working with the legislators and the federal government and the state in order for us to get the funds to do the necessary state of good repair and to build these new stations that are so very important to the growth and development of all of our communities. And for 62 years of my life, there's been a name that's been very important to me, and that name is Larry. So President Dominick, my name is Larry, so hey, you're special to me also. But I want to recognize a member of my board of directors. I mean, METRA, we have 11 board members at METRA, and we truly work very hard to make sure that we are delivering the things that the community need. And one of the things that came up as it relates to this contract, we wanted to make sure that there was not a Cicero flyover. And I can honestly tell you there will not be a Cicero flyover. And I just want to bring up Director Don DeGraff to make some comments. Director DeGraff, you want to come up and say something?
Thank you, Chairman Huggins. It's a pleasure for me to be here and represent our board. It's a new day at METRA, and these kinds of events are exciting. And knowing all the work and the toil and the great representation the town of Cicero has today, it's exciting for me to know that as we move forward at METRA, this new station will take place. And it's a partnership. METRA, it's a new day at METRA, but it's the partnership of existing state senators and representatives, village boards, town presidents that make this thing work. I have the privilege of serving the village of South Holland as its mayor, so I know what that means. The partnership is a big thing. So I'm thrilled to be here, thrilled to represent the board, METRA's board, and very excited about what will be here in a little over a year. Congratulations.
Thank you, Director DeGraff. At this time, we'd like to bring up State Representative Lisa Hernandez to make some comments. Lisa?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I just want to say I think it's a really great day for Cicero. I think this is a project long time that the community deserves. I have to say that this has been a very, very high priority on the senator's end. And I think he can't deny that half of the battle is bringing the dollars to make it happen. So Marty, thank you for all your hard work. Thank you. But just it makes sense because Cicero, if you really think about it, Cicero is between two expressways and an airport. So it only makes sense. So I want to thank METRA for recognizing that very much. And not but least, Larry Dominick, our president from the town of Cicero, for pressing upon, the need. He's got a vision, and this is just part of that. So thank you all.
At this time, we'd also like to bring up State Representative Savannah Taveras to make some comments.
Good morning. First and foremost, I want to thank the town of Cicero for having me this morning and being part of this historic day for the town of Cicero. I want to applaud Senator Martin Sandoval and President Dominick and the town of Cicero for making this a priority for the residents and their commitment on this project. Their efforts should be applauded and recognized. I'm looking forward to being their next state rep and representing the town of Cicero. Thank you.
I got to tell you, the town of Cicero has some beautiful state representatives, I can tell you that. Senator Sandoval talked about our executive director.
Good-looking senator.
I'm not,
Larry, come on.
and a good-looking state senator. Hey, listen, after all, this is his day, so whatever he wants to say, I'm going to give him credit for it. But Senator Sandoval had talked about Alex Clifford, our executive director, and all of the hard work that he has done in doing the things that he has done with METRA for the past year. And I honestly got to tell you that I have totally been surprised that a guy from California can come to Chicago and really just blend in, fit in, and do the right things to make METRA actually the #1 commuter rail in the country as far as I'm concerned. And at this time, I'd like to bring up Alex Clifford, METRA's Executive Director. Alex?
Well, thank you so much. So many kind words. Look at this station. Look around you. I mean, is there any doubt in your mind that this station needs to be replaced? This parking lot, those shelters over there, the platforms, there is no doubt. One of the most interesting things is sort of virtually on day one, the first senator that I met was Senator Sandoval. And one of the things he said is, come on over here to Cicero. I want to show you something. Well, there's no doubt in my mind when he showed me this station that I could quickly understand what needed to be done. And when you hear me talk about we need to have more focus on state of good repair, this is sort of a postage stamp, if you will, of that subject matter. This is state of good repair. This is part of that infrastructure across this 6 counties that we must find the money over the next 10 years to figure out how to take care of. And the senator has taken that to heart. He said a lot of nice, kind words, but he really made it easy for me. He did all the heavy lifting. And before I got here, he got this station into the bond measure. All I had to do is come along and figure out how to invest the money, and I thank you for that, because that's the kind of initiative we need more broadly across the state and in D.C. to figure out ways to fund our urgent need of state of good repair. So, Senator, you said some nice things about me. I really want to say more nice things about you. Thank you for a job well done.
Thank you, Alex. You know, one of my favorite sayings is that at the end of the day, and truly at the end of the day, if it wasn't for the fact that the state actually did the bond issue and supply the necessary funds that it takes to do the station, it simply would not have happened. And words cannot truly express how I feel about Governor Pat Quinn in terms of the things that he's done, as simply as it relates to transportation. And maybe one of these days he might go down as the transportation governor, because, I mean, he's truly into light rail, he's truly into transportation. And here representing IDOT is Mrs. Marva Boyd.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It is absolutely a pleasure to be here today on such a historic occasion. As Mr. Huggins has stated, I'm the Chief of Staff of the Illinois Department of Transportation. I'm truly honored to be here today on behalf of Governor Pat Quinn and Secretary of Transportation Ann Schneider to celebrate the significant milestone. Thanks to Governor Quinn's Illinois Jobs Now program, projects just like this one can move forward. Illinois Jobs Now is the largest capital program in the state's history, and we're happy to continue to reap the benefits. Of the $14 billion in the program dedicated for transportation needs, $10.7 billion has been spent on projects that have improved nearly 6,500 miles of roadways and 961 bridges throughout the state. The program so far has created more than 140,000 jobs. And just last month, Governor Quinn, alongside Secretary Schneider, signed a law to begin the next phase of this historic program. House Bill 4568 authorized the Illinois Department of Transportation to proceed with $1.6 billion worth of road, rail, and transit projects all across Illinois. That action underscores the leadership and commitment from Governor Quinn to build a truly 21st century transportation network here in Illinois. The reconstruction of the Cicero Avenue station is one of 7 METRA construction projects made possible through the program. The station, which operates on the BNSF line, has an average boarding of 250 per day. It was designed by Lochner as the prime engineer and Muller and Muller as the architects. The $6.5 million project includes METRA support services, is expected to create 80 new jobs, and was awarded to Burns Construction. I know that we've got representatives from Burns here today. Thank you. Was awarded to Burns Construction for $4.1 million. The contract, I'm extremely pleased to say that the contract has a DBE participation of 26.58%. This DBE, we've exceeded the DBE goal, that's the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise goal, and as Senator Sandoval stated, there's a tremendous commitment to making sure that minorities participate in contracts like this, and we're extremely grateful for that. The project replaces both platforms to include tactile warning strips, platform lighting, and station signage and improvements to the parking lot, a new enclosed warming house, and a three-sided shelter on the outbound platform, new inbound head house and ramp enclosure with heated waiting area is also part of the construction project. Passengers will no longer have to wait on the open platforms exposed to inclement weather. It is important to note the platform ramps will be constructed to comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act requirements, and I'm extremely happy to say that. Once constructed, travelers will have a better visual of the station from Cicero's Town Hall to better integrate with CTA bus connections. We look forward to reaping many benefits of this construction in Cicero, and we're proud of the achievements of the Illinois Jobs Now program, which has made projects like this happen throughout the state. The program has greatly improved the safety and quality of life for Illinois residents. Thank you so much for having me today, and when I think about the purpose of us being here today, it really comes down to just a few words: partnership, vision, leadership, and transformation. And with the vision that all of you have had, I look forward to coming back here a year from now for the ribbon cutting. Thank you so much.
You know, about 5 weeks ago, as I was walking through my neighborhood, I met Mrs. Boyd, and when she told me that she had walked about 10 miles. So in order for you to come back next year, you got to walk from your house to here, and that would be a good thing. You can do that. But this concludes this part of our presentation. I guess it's now time for us to go over and break some ground. Thank you all for coming.